Hey everybody, it's Galmadex and welcome back to some more Magic Green, and today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Once again, feels good to be back in draft. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one pick one here. We got a really fun red mythic, the Faded Firepower. I have not had the opportunity to play with this yet before, and I honestly haven't played too many aggressive red decks, so this should be a pretty fun change of pace. This is a ridiculously strong finisher for your red aggro decks, as you just dump a bunch of mana into this and make it so basically every creature you have for the rest of the game is like a 4-1 at worst. That's if you cast this for X equals 3, then all of your 1/1s are now 4/1s essentially. And obviously all of your burn spells as well will be dealing that extra damage. So if you have something like a lightning strike that can shoot your opponent in the face, that'll be wonderful. This should be a really fun finisher, a really fun build around for a red-based aggro deck. So I'm going to take that here. Other reasonable options, Firebending Lesson, by far my favorite other pick. If that weren't in the pack, I might go for the Sokka. I don't love starting with a 3-colored card unless it's like one of the green ones, because I do think green's pretty good at splashing, but a card like the 3-color Sokka is not my favorite pack one pick one. I would definitely take solid removal over it. But if that weren't in the pack, I didn't see too much else outside of that. Pick 2, we've got a really good follow-up, just another great aggressive red rare. The Wartime Protesters puts a +1/+1 counter and gives haste to any other allies you play. This is particularly good with another red common. It's 3 mana for a 2/1 haste and a 1/1 token. Then you get a 3/2 and a 2/2 off of that card, so even if we aren't particularly like ally heavy by being like red-white allies, there are on-color cards it'll work with as well, so pretty easy Wartime Protesters. Okay, and we might be the red-white allies deck. Sun Warriors is pretty solid, a little bit slow, so we could go for like a removal spell like Deadly Precision over it. Maybe go for like black-red aggro with Fire Nation Engineer, but I think this is a very strong mana sink. Very fun with that Firebending ability as well. If you can Firebend a bunch of mana, I believe, yep, Faded Firepower does have Flash. So if you Firebend a ton, you can make this even bigger, and then obviously it plays well with your 1/1 tokens as well, so Sun Warriors is pretty good alongside a Faded Firepower. It's also an ally card that's spitting out more ally tokens, so it plays well with Wartime Protesters. The color pair in the first place is going to be our most ally-heavy color pair. Yeah, I don't mind Sun Warriors here. I think in a vacuum, Deadly Precision's a better early pick, maybe even Fire Nation Engineer, because this is one of the potentially weaker signpost uncommons. It's a little slow, but it's got great synergy with what we're currently doing, so I don't mind it here. Pick number 4, we got some really good green cards. Solid black uncommon, an okay red common. There's also a solid tempo play in white, the Airbending Lesson, as well as a red-white dual land. Man, there's a lot that you could reasonably pick out of this pack, honestly. Faded Firepower is going to really make me want to play red. This is an ally as well to go with the Protesters. It's also a very good way to sneak in a bajillion damage comboing with that Firepower, so just another good card to synergize with it, because you can make one of your tiny creatures unblockable. While it's technically only 2 power, Firepower is going to make it hit for a bajillion. Technically a pretty filler card I'm taking out of this. I'm taking a big hit in card quality over like Rebuke, Airbending Lesson, or Judy, but I would really like to do the red thing, and I think that this would play very well with everything we have so far. Pick 5, we finally can't take a red card. There is no, I mean technically there's a Zao, but Zao doesn't really work in mono red. Zao only triggers off of sacrificing permanents. I guess Zao has the Firebending if nothing else, but there's not a whole lot of clue tokens to go around in red to sacrifice and get that trigger off of, so I'm not very into the Zao here. I'd rather just take like a white removal spell, maybe even Appa for the top of the curve for the potential red-white deck. I'm just going to grab a Razor Rings here. Pick number 6. All right, we're back into red. We've got another ally. Good creature type for us. It's got Firebending as well. Reasonable exhaustibility. I mean, either of these are fine filler aggro 3-drops. Black does look quite open. Epic Downfall. Pick number 6. Maybe potentially go for black-red. Not a color pair that I have had a particular amount of success with, but I think Black-red faded firepower could be nice because there's that hybrid black-red card, but technically that's a mono red card, so we don't need to be in black to play that. I think Epic Downfall's enough better than Zhong to speculate here. Okay, pick 7. Deadly Precision's still here, pick 7. We can take that. I don't think we should try to be a Cat Gator deck if we're also playing a triple red card. Right, trying to play essentially what is a triple or quadruple black spell, as well as a triple red spell, can be very trying on the mana base. Cat Gator wants like a 9-8 split in black's favor. Faded Firepower really wants a 9 or even 10-7 split in red's favor. So they're competing pretty hard between the two. Pick number 8, Deadly Precision, still here. Also, Fire Nation Cadets. I don't really have the lessons for it yet, but if I get them, this will be a really, really good way to start the curve, and we could play some Azula Always Lies out of the black. The Faded Firepower kind of makes me want to take Cadets over anything else here. Cruel Administrator has been one of the weakest signpost uncommons. I mean, I've really only played against it like once. I've played with it like once. It's just always not been very good. Just a little too slow for what it's doing. I'm just going to take Cadets here. Pick 9, Mai. Honestly, the Callous Inspector's not bad at all here either. But we are open enough at this point. 2 black spells, 2 white spells, that we don't need to commit yet. This will leave us a little bit more open to other options out of whatever we open in pack 2. Pick 11, Fire Nation Engineer looks really nice for the black-red. Certainly would like to play black over the white if possible. Pick 12, Judy. Yeah. This draft pod does not like black, I can tell you that. Last pick, Ty Lee. All right, solid red cards coming late as well. So pack 2, pick 1. Lightning Strike's by far the safest pick. But we could splash in a Toph. Splashing is a little harder to justify when you have really restrictive mana costs, like triple red on Faded Firepower, but again, we can use Firebending mana on this, which helps hit multiple red, because Firebending every single time is adding specifically red mana. I think the power level of Toph is worth the speculation here, potentially. I mean, Lightning Strike is also just going to be an incredible card in this deck, and it is a guaranteed play no matter what happens from the draft from this point on. That is so close. But I've got a Firepower, I got a Protesters already. This might be crazy, but I'm going to go Lightning Strike over the Toph here. There's just no world where Lightning Strike will wheel. Toph won't wheel either. But like if we take Toph and then just don't end up splashing them, that's going to be rough. Then we got basically nothing out of the back. Bunch of fine little aggro options. Zuko, Jet's Brainwashing, Deserter's Disciple. I think we're ideally on Zuko here. Zuko can single-handedly hit triple red for Faded Firepower. Definitely not on Fire Nation Raider. Probably trying to cut the first copy. Pick 3. Another Mai. Or a Corrupt Court Official. Or a Pretending Poxbearers. Legend Rule could get us to take one of the other 2 mana cards over a second Mai. As we obviously never want to have 2 Mai on the board. Yeah, I'll take a Corrupt Court Official here. Pick 4. Tundra Tank Firebending helps get to 2 Faded Firepower, and it is super easy to crew 1, with cards like Corrupt Court Official, Cadets, and stuff. These very small ball 1 and 2 mana cards to crew it. I think it's better than Warship in this deck by a tiny, tiny bit. But those are both solid vehicles, actually. The removal spell here's are a bit slow and dirtily, Boomy Bash and Barrels. Now I'll get another Deserter's Disciple. Again, sticking a lot heavier to red than black. Callous Inspector would be a perfectly solid card here, but towards the Faded Power, keep red very, very high. So if we don't have any Firebending on board, we could still hit triple red pretty easily. Ideally. Okay. Double fated firepower. That is not the most likely circumstance in the world, but I'll absolutely take it. A bunch of Deserter's Disciples are great with firepower to just sneak in damage, but so is Twin Blade for the double trigger. It's also great with Firebending. I'm actually going to go Twin Blades on this one. It's a super close pick. Another Fire Nation Cadets. I am really desperate to find some lessons to fuel this thing. Because 1 mana Firebending 2 would be wonderful, but we just have 0 lessons right now. So I feel like people are on like the blue-red lessons deck and just kind of locking us out of it. There's a Lowenly that can pick up Zuko, and that's something, but I'm going to go Cadets here. Pray for lessons. Here's a black-red duel or a June Bounty Hunter. If we're just going to be a pure 2-color deck, I don't feel like we need the duel too bad. I do like June a lot. Crack a Cadets, get a clue, get an unblockable swing in. Much better at cracking cards like Corrupt Court Official. I'm just not interested in Hog Monkey. We could play Poxbearers, so I will not rare draft out of that pack. Alright, well, whatever happens, we're doing something very unique this time around compared to a lot of our sealed decks lately. And certainly haven't really drafted like Rakdos in a very long time. Bunch of bad cards as we move on to pack number 3, which gives us Azula Always Lies. We're a heavy creature deck. It's going to be a good combat trick, and very importantly, we really need a Lesson Engraved for all of our Fire Nation Cadets. So I'm going to take Azula Always Lies over Deadly Precision here and see what happens for pick number 2. Not a great pack. We have a Poxbearers, a How to Start a Riots, and a Zhong. I still have 1 lesson, which makes Zhong look pretty bad. Very, very rarely doubling anything. I have so many 2-drops, though, I don't really think I need another Poxbearers. Pack's kind of a miss. Really don't think we're quite a How to Start a Riot deck, but maybe we're that desperate for lessons to take that here. I'll take Zhong. We should wheel How to Start a Riot, and then we'd have a couple lessons for him. So that's something. Fire Sages looks great. Firebending no matter what, whether or not we've got a Lesson Engrave. Helps get to the firepower. Take that here. We actually have somewhat of a high non-creature count right now. I'm not interested in the rare version. Another epic downfall. Get the big stabilizing blockers out of the way and not have to worry about them. Messenger Hawk's playable without playing blue. We could just be a black deck and use the Hawk, and it would be a good card, but not quite as good as epic downfall here, I think. This deck could definitely use ways to get big dirtly blockers out of the way in the endgame. There's another Cruel Administrator if we want to play around with that. Honestly, I think it's slow enough to just take the little tiny version of it, a 2-1 and a 1-1, instead of like a 5-4 and a 2-2 if it attacks. But yeah, this doesn't even trigger until it attacks. By then, it's easy to have removal. I'm just going to go for the little one. Really curve out. Get another one here. Beautiful. Now we're kind of flooding the board real fast. Wheeling a How to Start a Riot would be legit. Yeah, here's another one. Swamp Snare Trap is a playable removal spell, but it's one of the weaker ones, and we're on 4 removal already, all of which are better. I think we can pass it up here to get really, really high on the token producers. So a wheeled How to Start a Riot would be very good, and then Cadets would actually be playable. We'd have 2 lessons instead of just 1. Get a Union Archers, and next pack should be the Riot pack. Probably just cutting black, like early game black plays here. To be super deep on red. I mean, we have 2 triple red cards in this deck. Something like just all these. Still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2-mana creatures, 2 2-mana creatures. Somebody took How to Start a Riot here? Did I miscount? I feel like somebody took How to Start a Riot here. That is very disappointing. We might just not be a cadets deck. They are just never firebending. We have one lesson in the whole deck, so we could cut both of the cadets and cut Azula Always Lies. They are still like a fire breathing card. We can dump mana into making them bigger, but that's not really where we want to be. Yeah, I mean, I guess we just put a little more top end in here, wheel the 5-mana Cruel Administrator. We cut all the cadets. I'm a little sad about that. I think having a really low curve with the Faded Firepowers could have been super good, but these cadets are going to be quite bad with one lesson in the whole deck. So I could just cut the cadets and that lesson, and we're in really nice spots. Zhang the Deserter looks awful here as well, for that same reason. And just cut some of the cheap black creatures, probably. I guess while Twin Blades and Faded Firepower are really fun together, like if I resolve Firepower first and then give something double strike on a future turn, that could be like infinite damage. The problem is they both fill very similar roles, where we're gonna like flash them out and get a bunch of extra damage. Twin Blades does it a lot earlier. Twin Blades does do it a lot earlier, and Firepower is kind of like a full-on finisher. I feel like they're different enough to run both, but I could see the cut here will be a little bit high on non-creatures if I keep all of them in. Let's see, I mean, Zhang for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures at 2 mana, even if it's just all the red ones. This is 15 creatures total, running all of those. Could just run all my favorite creatures. Just pick my one favorite creature here. It's probably June in this deck. Just June in general. Sack the 1/1 Freedom Fighters cards. There's not a lot of other ways to draw a second card and get the unblockable damage in, and not too many other cards to sack, though. But I don't know, just being able to randomly give herself unwalkable in the late game with 2 copies of Faded Firepower in the deck could be the thing. I'm going to run June over the rest of those. That'd be 2 non-creatures to cut if we're going 16 creatures. I don't want to cut a land in a Faded Firepower deck. In a double Faded Firepower deck, actually. Could cut the Tundra Tank and then cut a Swamp to keep the red sources really high. And add a mountain, go 10-7 on it. Actually sounds pretty real to me. Boom, boom, boom. You know what's crazy? We didn't get we got 2 Faded Firepower. I don't think we saw a single copy of the common that has an activated ability. It's 3 mana, deal 1 damage to each opponent. That plus Faded Firepower to start picking them for 4 or 5 every time you spend 3 mana only. That would have been so sick, and that card's a common, so you would expect to see at least 1 copy. That's very sad. We did not find one of those to go with the double Faded Firepower deck. But again, we found other solid options. We have 3 different creatures in this deck that can just give full-on unblockability. Oops. Sorry, I bumped you out of here, Ty Lee. We have 2 Deserter's Disciples as well as a June. Can all just be fully unblockable. Sneak that final 6 damage in, or Lord knows how much with Faded Firepower. Alright, yeah, I'll play the Twin Blades over the Azula Always Lies. We'll drop that, call it a deck here, hop into the gameplay, and see how far this one can take us. Alright, here we are on the play for game 1. Certainly looking for some more spells for this hand, but it has a plan for sure. Looking for any 2 or 3 mana creatures so we can do something on turn 3, but I suppose the exhaust ability on Mai is 3 mana exactly, so if nothing else I can just do that. Alright, sure. Nothing else to do with the mana. I guess I've already got a double striker to go with the Faded Firepower. Add to the damage each step. First strike damage step and the regular combat damage step. Here comes Zhao into our face, and there's a Messenger Hawk on the board. Send Mayan and get a clue from Fire Nation Raider here? Or do I just go full damage and drop this Protesters? 6 to their face. I think I'm going full damage with the Firepower. Being able to randomly end things. This way if we top deck any of the 3 mana 2/1s that make another one, that was the card I was talking about. That's like the on-color synergy. We have 3 of that. That would be a 3/2 and a 2/2, both with haste off of the one spell. Daily Indoctrination. Well, there goes Faded Firepower. But that's why we've got a second copy. Don't worry about it. Go to 15. There's the Freedom Fighters. Maybe we just don't even need a second copy. Good lord. 5, that's 9, 10, 11. Put them to 3? Put them to dead to a lightning strike? Yep. Feels good. Land off the top. Send in the entire team. However much damage we get is however much we get. And then we crack a clue from Fire Nation Raider. Removal spell on Protesters go to 1. Sure is. They've got to deal with 3 lethal threats. And there's the concession from our opponent. That was phenomenal, phenomenal work from Wartime Protesters and Treetop Freedom Fighters. Very, very happy to see how well that played out here this game, because we've really got that combo set up. We got triple Treetop Freedom Fighters in this deck, so those are going to be great every time we hit the Protesters. All right, here we are on the play for game number 2. Just slam a bunch of Freedom Fighters down. Suppose I'll start with Fire Sages, if we had anything to do at instant speed, and it's more damage without having to trigger prowess. Waterbending Scroll, that is a card that plays for the late game, and we are a very aggressive deck, so I don't mind seeing that. Because it does not do anything for a while. Boomerang basics on the Fire Sages to slow it down. Fair enough. Let's be mana efficient here. Hit them a little bit less hard so that we can hit them much harder the turn after this and play 2 separate creatures here instead of just the 1 2-creature spell. There's a Cat Owl. Perfect target for Epic Downfall, and the 5th land is beautiful. Better to get double strike here, hit for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or play the Freedom Fighters, hit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess there's 9 either way, so the play is Freedom Fighters, and either way our opponent's hand is slow. They do not like seeing a bunch of little aggressive red creatures, and feels good to be the aggro today. Good lord, we are 2-0 heading into game 3. Game 3. On the play again. Great luck with the play draw today. Definite keep here. We might be discarding Cruel Administrator Administrator to the Union Archers. Although now I can discard a swamp and still play everything else. I think I'll ditch a swamp here. Or just ditch nothing would be fine too. Firebending lesson on the Archers. Incredible card. Wish I had a copy. It would have made our cadets a lot better. There's Firebender Ascension from our opponents. We will drop Treetop Freedom Fighters and then double 2-drop on turn 4. There's their own Treetop Freedom Fighters. They're pretty annoying against each other, because now neither of us can really do anything with our 2-1. Well, we made it to Cruel Administrator mana if they don't have a way to kill that. That'll be the plan for now. It's gonna force an attack next turn. Could just send the 2/2 in. Miss out on June's ability, but June's the only card here that's gonna genuinely trade into something. I mean, we just get a single +1/+1 counter on the Administrator, but that single counter makes it so they can't just put like 2/2/1s on it to kill it, so that single counter could do a lot. If we attack with Mai is threatening to do a lot of tricks here, which is kind of cool, but then if they like call our bluff and block Mai in any reasonable manner, the turn's going to be pretty bad. I think I attack with June. Just kill a 2/1, or just get 2 damage in. It's even better. We do have a bunch of open mana, so if they do play around combat tricks like that, then it does make the turn very profitable for us. Alright, red probably can't kill a 5 toughness card off of only 3 mana. There's the 2 mana 4 damage uncommon. 2 mana 3 damage common, the Lightning Strike. The Firebender Ascension also needs to be 5 mana total to kick it, and they're only at 3, so even if they play a land, I guess they could play a land, attack with the Firebending creature, and then off of the 5 mana, blow up the Administrator. Okay, so this is going to be some combat tricky stuff. So we'll see how bad this could be for us, but it shouldn't be able to kill Cruel Administrator at the very least if we just let him chill. This could be like How to Start a Riot, which is also just not very bad for us. These are all fine trades, and then an Administrator just rolls in, making a creature every single turn. Cunning Maneuver, and that's it. That is perfectly fine. Then Union Archers. Discard a card, draw a card, looking for mana. They did find it there. There's land number 4. We found mana as well, but we were certainly not looking for it. I could turn my Administrator tokens into clues, I guess, but I could only do that during my turn. It's a little rough. It makes me feel like it's not quite worth it. We just save it as the blocker. How to Start a Riot? Menace to the Archers? Sure. I mean, they take 10 on the crackback, but this is lethal, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15? 16. 16. So 9 plus 6. No, 5 plus 4, 9 plus 6. 15. If they don't have a 1 mana red spell that gives extra power, we survive and then kill them on the crackback? I just don't block, right? There's not a 1 red mana. I guess we'll find out. We drew a lightning strike, so we definitely win. But yeah, there's not. All right. Opponent did their best there, got me down to 1, but not quite enough, so just kill them on the crackback, and that is 3-0 heading into game 4. On the play again. The ball does not stop rolling. We get that aggressive momentum and just never stop attacking today, apparently. Dual land, turn 1 from our opponent. Blue-black duel specifically. Like the Tylee here, prowess plus twin blades is gnarly. First time flyer is not going to block the sages, so get some damage in. Drop a Tylee. And hit them for 10 damage next turn if they don't block anything. No, even more, because I forgot the +1/+1 from prowess and twin blades. 12 damage? Didn't hit a land here. If I hit a land here, I could have downfalled and twin blades and like guaranteed that damage, which would be super gross. I guess I could shut off the block in twin blades here. Not doing anything else with this mana. If they have the 1 mana deal 2, that would be sad, but if they don't, this is disgusting. Go to 6. Submersible on Tylee. Fair enough. They're kind of forced into a bad block on fire sages here. 2 to equip. I could play another creature and equip. I guess I could play another creature and put a +1/+1 counter on it instead, which is better. Yeah. They're at 3 life. They are dead to our lightning strike. If we find it. There's a forecasting fortune teller. So they do have the submersible up on blocks here as well, which is worth noting. And another thing worth noting is they're dead to 1 June hit. If we put the twin blades on June and draw a card to give her unblockable, I don't have the mana to do all that here. I guess I could Firebend from the sages to use June. Use the 1 Firebending mana from June to sack the sages, then sack the clue, draw a card. That feels very risky though, because if they have, like Azula Always Lies, anything that like stops 1 point of damage, then I've just like sacked a lot of my board for a gamble. There's definitely like a safe attack here. There's probably Deadly Precision and Tylee. Kind of hope they activate Submersible in response, because then I can actually downfall it. But if they just wait, then my attack is worse here. Okay, they are going to allow me to downfall it. Let's go. Yeah, we cleared that out. All they can do is trump. They had the hexproof trick, but saved it rather than using it on first time flyer. Interesting. That does play solidly here. But since I did that all at sorcery speed, which I had to, they were all sorceries, I don't get blown out by it or anything. Still keep all my creatures on board. Drop a Treetop Freedom Fighters and turn the 1/1 into a clue token feels like the play for next turn. Just setting up to get some unblockable swings with June for lethal. It feels pretty good. Guess I could trade 3/3 for 3/3 here to get the clue mana right now and get one June attack immediately. Actually kind of does seem viable to me. Three for 3/3 here is fine. Sure, Lost Days the June. Believe this is a position where we're looking to redraw her. Alright, 3/3 for 3/3. Yeah, our lack of mountains here, having like 4 swamps, just 2 mountains, it's preventing Fire Sages from being like a really good mana sink right now, because it does need double red to put the counters into it. So I really don't mind just getting the 3/3 out of the way with it. Like, we weren't attacking just to get the 3/3 out of the way. It's because we could do that and get the clue cracked, but I don't hate the outcome because of our lack of red right now. It's more important that June resolves than that Tylee resolves, so we'll lead with June so we have mana for Quench if they have one. Yep, that is all good. Take 5, go to 15. Guess I'll die. Could get Lightning Strike off the top, but that was an just ridiculous top deck for our opponent. They could have had it in their hand for a little while, but this card's absurd. Essentially 2 8/4 flyers, and give this +4/+0 as well. Man, yeah, I mean, they were going to need a mega high impact card to turn this game around, and they sure got it. We can still draw Lightning Strike, but that is our only out now. Need to hit exactly Lightning Strike off the top here. And that's not that. Play Disciple and not have quite enough mana to crack it. And the clue, so definitely not enough to Lightning Strike. Needed 1 more damage at some point to win that game. Well played from our opponent being able to stabilize from there, but really demolished by Ran and Shaw. We just needed 1 more turn to kill them, and there's very few cards that would have done the extra 10 damage to our face there that they needed to stop us from getting another turn. But Ran and Shaw absolutely fits the bill. All right, fair enough. We have been absolutely blowing people out, just curving them out of the game. And there's our blowout against us. That's going to be 3-1 heading into Game 5. Here we are for Game 5. We're on a 10-7 split. We've pretty consistently drawn a lot more swamps than mountains. And that is just magic. We'll have to take a mulligan on this one. See, double swamp, one mountain. This one is... It's a begrudging keep. I don't think we can mulligan this, but not having a 2-drop to start the curve is not the most exciting still. Should they just go Freedom Fighters into Zuko here? Since I'm not really getting Engineer going. It seems fine. We're also on the draw this game. That means we get to draw some cards here and see if we can find the 2-drop to fill out the curve. Fated Firepower is the first draw. Earth Kingdom Protectors is usually super gross, because any really strong allies they play later, they get to just completely protect, but our removal is Exile, so the Indestructible will not save it from our removal. Now, it can still save it in terms of combat, but I would be able to Epic Downfall the Enthusiasts if I want to here. So they can basically chump block with Earth Kingdom Protectors if they want. I think if they block here, I'll just activate and have a 3/3. Okay, they don't want to chump block yet. If that's the case, I'm pretty fine to just play the fighters. I guess with Wartime Protesters in the hand. You know, Wartime Protesters does incentivize holding on to fighters if we can. We have got to top deck a land, though, for that. I could downfall the Enthusiasts then instead. Putting a counter on Sages, that's also kind of reasonable to try to buy time. I'm actually just going to downfall Enthusiasts here. I would really like to get the Protesters Freedom Fighters combo if I can. Second Avatar Enthusiasts, stop. Cease and desist, please. That is not a land. So that will not be the Protesters. Could be a Twin Blades this time, though, which is cute. Sure. Master Piondao, super gross card. Also, Enthusiasts gets to jam in now. Not a land. Treetop Freedom Fighters and pass. We have no attacks into Piondao. Compassionate Healer. And here's where Earth Kingdom Protectors is absolutely brutal. None of our blocks will kill anything but Earth Kingdom Protectors at absolute best. Third black source. I mean, I can play the Protesters, but the board's gotten too far out of hand. We missed way too many land draws early. Yeah, I mean, they just have too many Avatar Enthusiast style snowballing threats like that. Technically, I could have saved Epic Downfall. We would have been able to do it on Piandao, but I'd be facing 2 Avatar Enthusiasts now if I hadn't. So it really feels kind of unwinnable, just draw-wise. I don't really think we end up in a particularly better position if they don't have Pyeongdao, because then it's like 2/5/5s or something with the enthusiasts. They wouldn't have drawn the warriors yet. But any other ally in hand would have still had 2/5/5s on the board. I guess the first one would have been a 6/6, and then this newer one would be the 5/5. Off of casting literally any, just one ally. White Lotus reinforcements, you got me. Well, that was rough. Quite rough. Obviously, really, really bad draws mana-wise. But that is what it is. That is Magic for you. 3-2 heading into game 6. Alright, here we are on the draw again for game number 6. We are 3-2 right now. Just one win away from pretty much the break-even point. Draw 3 swamps and 2 mountains. Always appreciate statistical anomalies. It's like 3 draws in a row. Triple black opener I had to mulligan. Triple black and 1 mountain last game. Triple black and 2 mountains is not as bad, but still. 10 mountains, please, Arena. I'm on 10-7. There we go. Now it looks like I'm on an 8-8 split. Not particularly happy with this start here. I think I'm going to have to just trade into their 2/2s. Should be filthy if they had the +2/+2 to 2 creatures trick. But we trade into their creatures and I get to use Zuko as the card draw engine to try to get ahead in a long game. Honestly, probably should have even traded with their 2/2 last turn with June. Okay, so we both got a mana sink here. I've got Zuko, they've got Rallier. Play the Raider over the Zuko first. They find any removal. It's the card I'd much rather they kill, and this way I have an extra permanent around for Deadly Precision. So I could drop a Zuko and crack the clue to Deadly Precision if we want to do that instead. Interact with the board as efficiently as possible. Earth Kingdom Jailer, busted card. And that's going to be their removal for Zuko then. Now they're just going to go for it immediately. That's actually pretty profitable if they don't have the hexproof trick to protect it. Because I can crack the clue to give June unblockable. I guess if I crack the clue to give June unblockable, then the clue's not around for Deadly Precision, and I don't have Deadly Precision mana. So yes, yeah, I have to attack before I kill the Jailer either way. So it's like... attack, Twin Blades, crack the clue to Deadly Precision the Jailer. Sounds quite reasonable to me. I could even crack the Twin Blades instead of the clue. But I mean, I crack a clue, I get a new clue. I still have the Zuko mana sink as well. I'm going to leave the extra stats from the Twin Blade. I'm going to sack this clue. If I really need the clue back, June can turn the Twin Blades into the clue anyway. Just only during our turn. Gather the White Lotus. Yep. You got there, for sure. 5/1/1s and then scry 2. They have done the mono white thing. Now it's going to be a free Water Tribe Rallier trigger. Or activation. Swamp 4. I mean, I've got triple red, so it doesn't even matter at this point, but it is still... Like, what is going on here, Arena? Swamp 4. Crack the clue and play a Zuko. Mountain 4. Two blockers that can eat a 1/1 for free. I think I can afford to send the 3 damage in. Basically, if they play anything that buffs the whole board, we're gonna die. However many blockers we hold up. Jets off of the top. They scried with the White Lotus to get the Rallier draw for it. Blow up whatever creature they want, and there goes Zuko. They hit the June, though. Actually pretty happy with that. Not happy with lands off the top. Play that card this turn, period. So if I hit like a Faded Firepower, that's going to be pretty depressing. Faded Firepower for 1. Pretty much everything else is castable. I have 1 5-drop in the deck. Good lord. Well, I'll play the land. Not activating this during our opponent's turn for 1 mana untapped. Certainly not trying to play a 1 mana spell right now. The only 1 mana spell is deadly, whatever, and it's gone. So let's juice up. Just spread the toughness around. Most of the white removal spells are just going to shut off the creature in its entirely, regardless of its toughness. The only white stuff that's like damage based is like Jet. Cares about the number of creatures they have, which is way more than 4 to kill the Zuko, even if I give him the extra toughness. There's the Wandering Musicians, which is the card to buff the entire board and kill us. There's Avatar Enthusiasts and Momo first, though. Send in the Jet. You got it. That would be the one reason to make the 4 toughness Zuko, I guess. But Jet puts counters on the board when he dies anyway and just make the flyer better. Cool. Another land. Zuko, what have you got for me? We have 2 Epic Downfalls, Deserter's Disciple, Fire Sage, Lightning Strike, 2 my Union Archers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of 22 of these cards are 2 mana spells. Worst case scenario, I mill something I can't cast. That'd be a little bit sad, but it's just a mill one. 8 potential hits out of 22. I'm so far behind, I think I have to activate it and hope. There you go. I don't see any outcome where we win this at this point. It's just been kind of absurd amounts of lands. Our route to victory here would have been finding like Deserter's Disciples and Fated Firepower. So I could just sneak in like an 8 damage swing 2 turns in a row for lethal. It's another Earth Kingdom Jailer. Obviously Zuko. Jet and Momo coming in. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I technically lived that. There's literally no outs at this point, but just kind of wanting to see what my last draw would have been. It digs 1 card deeper. You're too late, Fated Firepower. All right. Tragic run today. Some really rough draws these last 2 games. Mega Mana Screw into Mega Mana Flood. We drew Fated. We have 2 Fated Firepowers. This is probably the saddest aspect of this draft. 2 copies of the Mythic Fated Firepower. We drew it twice. We drew it 1 time when they Daily Indoctrinationed it and made us discard it, and then we drew it another time when we were dead on board. So we just didn't get to play it at all. With 2 copies, not getting to do the thing 1 time is really sad. But yeah, I mean, I think the deck was fine. 3-3 feels a little low for it. Would have expected like a 4-3 or a 5-3, and I think it was playing to that level. Certainly, we got some really lucky games with the first 3 wins in a row, and then it felt like the exact opposite with the 3 losses. This format's been very, very swingy for me. Feels like you win hard or you lose hard, and there's not too much in between, and a lot of that losing hard was just drawing lands or not drawing lands, which is technically a part of any Magic format. Yeah, I think this is a fun deck. I like how I drafted it. We've got some fun little combos going here. Protesters with triple Freedom Fighters with Sweets. The unblockable creatures with the double Fated Firepower was theoretically Sweets. We just never got to play a Fated Firepower, because that's just how the cookie crumbles there. The Twin Blades with the Ty Lee was really nice in that 1 game as well. Did a bunch of damage very early, so that was fun. Yeah, I think there's a lot of nice little combos going on in this deck. A lot of nice little synergy. It's got a good curve. It's got good finishers. Just lined up well in some games, didn't line up in some others. Pretty basic stuff for an average 3-3 run. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and are interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube audience, send some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.